Hello, Michael. How are you doing today?
Good morning. How are you doing, man?
Doing great. Thank you very much.
It's good to talk to you again.
Very good,
It's been
very
a
good
minute
news
since
as
the
well.
last time we spoke to each other.
It's been a long time, a
A
really long
long
time.
time.
It's been a very long time, but the topics of today are so good, Michael. We had to do this AGTP Insight. It is so important.
It is. Let's welcome everybody to the show. We go live every weekday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern time to discuss the most important tech stories, tech topics, tech stuff
Mhm.
in the United States of America. Today is Thursday,
Yes.
the 2nd of July, 2026. Let's get right to it. So Meta is apparently getting into the compute game.
Mhm, mhm.
I have a feeling you and I are going to have different views on this.
Okay,
That
great.
makes it interesting already. And also, we wanted to talk about this yesterday, but since it's in the same Meta topic,
Mhm.
I wanted to talk about Meta puts a paywall on their Ray-Ban AI glasses because I do think it's interesting in the context of everything that they're doing. And then finally, Apple is telling its suppliers that they want to make 10 million iPhone foldables.
That is a big number, really big number.
It's just a huge number. So we'll get to that in a moment, right?
Mhm, mhm.
I mean, not in a moment. We'll get to that when we get to it, but I just thought that was kind of interesting. Okay.
Yes.
Do you want to jump into this?
Yes, let's do it.
So Meta is getting into the compute game. Let me just, as usual, run through some of this stuff, yeah, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
So Meta is apparently preparing, and remember, Meta has massive servers all over the world, massive data centers all over the world, right?
Yes.
And we'll get to the controversial part in a bit after you give your take on this. But Meta's preparing to turn part of its AI infrastructure build out into a commercial cloud business, which is interesting, right? Because one of the things that you and I have always talked about is, do you have this part of the business? Do you have that part of the business? And we've kind of left Meta out of, they have the cloud business.
For sure, because
And they
we
must
didn't
have realized this themselves.
Yeah.
Because they don't really have a cloud business that they sell to other people. But I will
Mm-hmm.
say this, Martin, Meta was a pioneer in building their own data centers and building their own sort of specific service. They know how to do this in a way. They just never shared it with anybody. They've just kind of done it on their own.
Yes.
Right. So that's kind of interesting. Anyway, the idea that they're having here is this: if Meta has more AI compute than it can immediately use internally, it can obviously, just like, Colossus 1 and Colossus 2, right? It can sell access to that capacity rather than just letting expensive GPUs just sit there and do nothing, right? And just be underutilized.
Yeah.
Now, if you think about it, but just give me a second before you jump in.
Go ahead.
I can see already you're chomping at the bit as we say, like, I want to say something. Let me say something. But the point here is that this business that they're proposing would likely include access to, like, just raw compute, hosted access to Meta's own models. Like, it's so weird how they want to turn themselves into like Anthropic or OpenAI, but with the cloud stuff. Because remember, OpenAI and Anthropic still don't have a cloud business, right?
No. Yeah.
And even though Muse Spark, which is like it's like the updated version of Llama on steroids or whatever it's meant to be, it's out there, but it has not been broadly released yet to developers. And let's just run through a few more numbers and then you can come in. Yeah, is that okay?
Go ahead. Yes, go ahead.
This is also, look, we know because we've run through this a bunch of times, but again, just to put it into context, they want to spend $125 to $145 billion in building like additional AI capacity out. They've already said this. This is one of the reasons why they've let 8,000 people go, why they've reassigned people internally to be part of their artificial intelligence business. In a way, Martin, it feels like, to me, that instead of just like sitting on the sidelines and watching their business die, which they could have done, even though their ad business is growing bit by bit, but they can see that like AI is going to take over the world. They're like, you know what? We're going to basically start from scratch.
Exactly. Yep.
We're going to reinvent this entire company. And it's weird, again, not to make fun of them again, but if they had literally waited just a couple of years and not renamed themselves Meta, they could have named themselves like AI. No, but I'm not trying to be funny in this case. I'm not trying to be funny because that's really what they're becoming. They're not a metaverse company. They're literally going, for as long as the Facebook platform with 2 billion monthly average users still generates enough ad revenue for us to take that money and invest it into whatever the new thing is going to be,
We're going to do it.
let's make sure that that new thing is something. Yeah, we're going to do it for sure. And we've
Yes,
already
yes.
proven that we can do it. But let's make sure that that new thing is really a new thing.
Yes. Yeah.
And
It's
not
true.
just like
It's
some
true.
made up thing that we think is good. Because that's what the whole metaverse thing was. Like, we need
Yeah.
something new.
Yeah. That's a good point. That's a
And we're
really
going
good
to
point.
bet on the metaverse. And then they were like, well, that didn't work, but we can't change our name again because that would just be silly. But again, I don't mean it in a funny way. But now they've seen, like, okay, we see the valuation of OpenAI. We see the valuation of Anthropic. We see what SpaceX is doing. We see what Amazon is doing on the orchestration side, right? With all of their stuff. We need to do something. Otherwise, we're not going to be part of this magnificent seven anymore. And even Apple has its own AI strategy, even if it's not building its own models.
Yes.
So,
Yep.
so here's just one more thing, and then I'll let you go.
Okay, go ahead.
I know I said this like 5 times. You're like, what are you doing? Let me talk. Please let me talk. But the point is that I bet when they renamed themselves to Meta, that the stock market reaction was just like, yawn. Because I don't think the market believed that it was a real thing. But Meta shares actually rose pretty sharply.
When? Today? Or since the metaverse?
No. Since they announced this this new thing that they're going to do, where they say that they're going to take part of their, but you have to be careful about this, right? It's an if. Remember, they don't have. Sorry, I'm not going to get to it yet. I want you to give your opinion on something, and then I want to come back. I think it's going to be different than yours. But anyway, go ahead. So, what do you think?
Okay, so first of all, when I saw that, I was like, I'm so happy to see that, because we've been talking about that on the show as a possibility for like the last 3 months, right? Like, if people have time, just go look back at all of our episodes we did on AGTP Inside over the last 3 months, and we have always mentioned Amazon, Microsoft, Google as a potential three very big winner because they are in the infrastructure game. And then we are always saying, like, there is a potential fourth one, Facebook, Meta, because, as you said, Michael, they are one of the first and maybe the only one at that scale who have actually built their own data centers infrastructure, right?
Yeah,
and
besides AWS, but
yes, but I mean, they have, sorry, let me rephrase. They have this massive infrastructure in terms of data centers that they use for themselves, right? No cloud business, right? Where Shopify or all the other guy, they are using AWS infrastructure, Google Cloud infrastructure, and they haven't built their own infrastructure themselves, right? But Facebook is a global company, absolutely huge, and they build their own infrastructure that they don't rent out to other people. And so one of the arguments that we were making before were the cool thing with being in AI, and one of the reasons why Amazon, Google, and Microsoft were going to be so strong is because they could play both on the model side, because they do models, so they can make money with tokens. They can participate into how people use AI at the core, like using the model itself, and also they have the infrastructure business. So even if their model doesn't work, or if people don't care about Gemini, they can always sell compute to everybody else. And then we were like, who is the one guy who is doing AI, who has data center, and we just need to launch a cloud offering? It's Facebook, right? Meta, sorry. And so that's why we were saying, like, if they need to launch a cloud business, because they are already in the AI space, and in case their AI doesn't work, or even if it works, then that's just add a B plan. It just add an extra layer of income by just launching the cloud offering with the data centers that they already have, and they already know how to run, right? And so it seemed like super obvious that they should launch that, and they did, Michael. And so that's why I feel like what we've been speaking about in the last few months, I think we had like a good read on that. And so that's why, like, when I saw that, first of all, absolutely not surprised, and I think it makes complete sense. And yeah, once again, like, they either can win with their own AI model, which is great, or they can win with a compute in case the AI model is not enough, or they can win with both. Now it gives them optionality, right?
Okay.
And this is good. I like that.
I'm glad you like it. And as I said, the stock market liked it too. The stock closed on June 30th at 563.
Okay.
That's in dollars, and it closed at 612, almost 613, so 50 points higher,
Okay.
which is about 9 or 8% higher.
Okay.
It's back down a little bit today,
Mm-hmm.
but here's where I'm gonna push back a little bit.
Tell me.
They haven't invested the 115 to 100, the 125 to 145 billion dollars yet.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have any data centers yet that are AI enabled.
Maybe they need to run their own stuff, huh? And they release Spark worldwide.
They do, but they don't
Yeah.
have any excess capacity, so they have nothing left to sell right now.
How do you know they don't have SS capacity?
Because I read about it today.
Okay. Okay.
Because I read about it today.
Okay.
So they're trying to monetize like the future of this. So it's a great announcement, and it's classic Mark Zuckerberg. And to be fair,
yes,
in a way,
that's
it's
true.
actually classic Microsoft from the 1990s,
Okay.
where Microsoft is like, we're going to come out with the best browser ever. And you're like, really? We called it vaporware.
Okay.
Because it wasn't there. It's vapor. It's just like into thin air. I'm not saying that Meta doesn't have data centers, but they don't have excess capacity today. Right? So so they're going to build it, but now what they're doing is they're entering into the same market that everybody else is entering, where they have to build out this capacity. And for better or for worse, I'm not saying it's a bad idea. It's still a great idea. But the idea that they have excess capacity today is not there yet.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's one of the things that makes this real interesting. Because the real question you have to ask yourself is, does the announcement itself make Meta a real competitor in the cloud space, like right away? Is this like an overnight thing?
No. It's just gonna take time. Like there's a lot of things to build for sure for them. They really start from scratch. And as you said, like, this is really cool to see that, because it's a whole new business for them, right? Okay, sure, they know how to build data center, they know how to run them, great. But hosting other people's stuff and working with clients and building a team of engineers who are going to be able to help the clients integrate their stuff and all of that, like it's a whole new business for them. It's a whole new line of business, right? And as you say, now they will need to think about excess capacity for the others as well, buy the chips, the power, and all the thing that goes with actually running data centers for much more people than just yourself, right?
Exactly.
So no, there's a lot of challenges, but on the other hand, if they want to participate into the AI war, into the AI race, and in 10 years, we still don't know who's going to win. So now it gives them two options. So I think they had to do it. It was like a no-brainer to me.
So, but again, the interesting thing to me, right, is that they've said we're gonna put this money aside. We're gonna invest again $135 billion. We know that that's what their revenue was just like 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah.
But the more interesting thing to me is that there's been no announcement, right? Because remember, we did a whole segment on the CFO from OpenAI, who kind of got pushed aside. I forget the woman's name. Where Sam Altman was like, something, I don't remember. It doesn't matter. I mean, it matters. And please excuse me, like, email Martin about this. Don't email me if you're mad about it. Just please email Martin. Yeah. That's Martin at meanemail.com, just so you know. But the point I'm trying to make is that, like, Sam Altman came out and said, like, yeah, we're going to spend $122 billion a year. And she was like, how are we going to do that? Like, how are we ever going to do it? But think about what would happen if OpenAI came out, or if Anthropic came out and said, we're going to take the money that we're going to raise, or that we've already raised, and we're going to build out data centers. And if we have excess compute, we're going to be in the cloud business as well. And even if they don't have excess compute, they still be in the cloud business, so that their existing customers then could do all of the hosting for the stuff that they do with OpenAI and with Anthropic. And then imagine how sticky that becomes.
Yeah, for sure. It's that,
because you're not going to use, sorry, excuse my language, you're not going to use, I'm not going to swear. I was going to, oh my God, if I was offline. But they're not going to use like OpenAI Cloud and then use Llama or Muse Spark. Do you know what I mean? If they're going to use Muse Spark, they're going to use Meta's cloud business. The same way if they're going to use Gemini, they're probably going to use Google's cloud business. Right? So, but if OpenAI had a cloud business, which they don't yet, but they should, like, this would be a big announcement.
So well. I think here, the way I see that for Meta is more like in case our Muse is not working, we are still in the game in 5 years.
Absolutely.
Because the infrastructure is going to be hard for sure, but it's pretty sure that in 5 years we are going to have clients. Basically, it's pretty sure that there will be somebody who will want to rent out data centers, whether it's Gemini, whether it's OpenAI or it's Anthropic. We are not going to be in a situation where we have too much data centers. Like, I don't think
this is never going to happen.
This is going to happen in the near future. So I think this is more like the way that I see that. It's more like, okay, let's try to make money with Muse. Let's try to build a model ourselves as well, so we can participate in this competitive landscape, right? But if the model becomes a commodity because the competition gets too complex, then at least we are not left with nothing. We still have a big business that is the compute game, and then maybe we can become a distributor of Gemini or OpenAI or whoever wins, basically, right? Like the same way that AWS is integrating every model with Bedrock. I see the same thing for Meta. I mean, to be frank, I see the same thing for every cloud provider, right? Everybody will just converge with this unified offering, which is the model is a commodity. There may be one or two that are better than the other. Use whatever you want, but pay for my compute, basically, right?
Yeah.
And I think this is the thing that Elon Musk saw first, really, right? Like when he launched SpaceX,
that's why he built Colossus 1 and Colossus 2, right?
Yes, and then that's why he built SpaceX to get like to get the data centers in space and also on Earth with the Colossus data centers. But he was like, in case our HCI doesn't work, then at least we have the compute and we can make money with it, right?
How come no one talks about Bezos's Blue Origin business in the same way they talk about SpaceX?
Yeah, it's true. That's a really good question. I was thinking about that this afternoon. I was like, you know what? Like, what can be a threat to the cloud business? Okay, I was like, because like I feel so bullish on just the hyperscalers. I'm like, okay, they can't lose in 5 years. It's just impossible. So I was trying to think like, what is the threat that would actually be a problem to them? And so then I thought about space, right? Like maybe Elon Musk is right, and maybe in 10 years everything is going to be in space. And then I will remember, but Amazon is there as well. They also have a space business, right? So in case in 5 to 10 years everything is in space, Amazon is there. They are already working on that, right? So I really wonder why we don't speak about that more. Why there is not more announcements? Why that doesn't make more headlines? Because this is also a big player. They have what, like 3,000 satellites, if I remember correctly. They bought the company that provide all the services to Apple as well a couple of months ago, right? So they are doing some things, right? It's not that they are doing nothing. And they are in the race as well for space data centers. So it's really cool.
So I do agree with you in this case. I think that Facebook is trying to reinvent itself.
Yeah.
And again, even if their model of Muse Spark doesn't work, they'll at least learn how to host that model, how people use that model, how they use it internally, all this other stuff. And again, that will lead them directly into this AWS Bedrock style business, as you suggested.
Yeah.
Because that may be their only choice at the end of the day. But here's the other sort of small bit of complexity.
Tell me.
AWS, Microsoft through Azure, and Google through cloud, they already have. It's a weird thing to think about it, but I have to say this, right? Like, when they want to build a new data center for external usage, they already have, like, first of all, a distribution mechanism to enterprises to do that.
Yeah, a team, the brand recognition, everything.
All that stuff. Yeah, not so much the brand, because like Meta is a pretty good brand still, particularly from a technology standpoint. Whether you like what they do or not, no one can argue with their tech chops, yeah?
The advertising platform is absolutely insane. Like, it's insane. It's insane. It's absolutely
But they don't have, and this is going to sound dumb, right? But like, for building an enterprise quality style cloud business, they don't even have the relationships built out yet on the procurement side. You know what I mean? To buy the proper, because if you build something for internal, first of all the security stuff you do is different than if it's external, right? Because now you're worried about your own data and stuff like that. But if you sell it to other people, now you have to have a different level of data security. But also all of like the global stuff that they do from a cloud services standpoint, they've built none of that infrastructure to do the cloud sales, cloud services, customer service, all that stuff, right? It's all been internal. So even though they have the technological ability to be able to build it,
Mm.
they don't have the infrastructure in place yet, which means maybe those 8,000 people that they've hired, they need to rehire. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly, for sure. So I definitely there's ton of challenges, right? It's not going to be easy. Otherwise, everybody would do it, right? But on the other end, I think that they so must with SpaceX do a $1 billion per month deal with Anthropic, another
Yeah, and
$1
they must have
billion
sat there and thought, like, what are we
month.
doing?
What are we doing? They have two little tiny data centers there. We have I don't know how many, but we have
All over the world.
maybe like 100 times the capacity all over the world. They
Yeah.
sell their little stuff there for $1 billion per month, and they have 2 clients already in year one.
Right.
What are we doing, guys?
And Martin, look, we know how sales works. Do you think that the Colossus sales were incoming calls or outgoing calls?
I think they receive so many calls right now. They are like so busy just
That's
because
my point.
Anthropic has such a big problem.
This was incoming calls for sales.
Yeah.
It was like
Exactly.
the phone's ringing. It's like, hello, is Elon Musk available?
Yes, I have $1 billion per month to spend in compute.
Exactly.
Can you give me data centers?
Exactly.
That's what's happening, right? And they
For
signed
sure.
with Google and with Anthropic, right? So no. So that's why I think that accelerated everything, right? Like Meta, I think was working on that for quite some time because we saw it. I think they saw it as well, that it was something that they could do, and then they just accelerated everything. I think it's not a surprise that it's announced like 2 months roughly after, or 1 or 2 months after the big deal announced by SpaceX. And yeah, now they're gonna be in this game, which now, I mean, if they go through all the challenges, because as you said rightfully, it's not going to be easy, right? Like it's a whole new business. If it was simple, everybody would do it. So it's not gonna be easy, but if they made it work, now you're talking about a company that have the largest ad business in the world, who is going to be able to sell compute, and maybe will have an AI model that works. Now you're talking about a really big player, and also a company, let's not forget that has over 2 billion monthly average user.
Right.
Now you're talking about distribution and compute and AI and advertising. Now we're talking about a really serious big player in like the largest company in the world in 5 to
So I want
10
to make
years.
the case though that that the distribution to 2 billion monthly average users contains, I wouldn't say zero, but closer to zero than it is to one enterprise style clients. On the ad business, obviously, they have relationships with every
Yes.
large enterprise, right? Because all of them are advertising. But I think the guys and gals that are buying ad space on Facebook are not going to be the same people that are buying cloud business from Facebook.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that simple to migrate the whole cloud business, right? So let's see how they enter the market. Maybe they're gonna do something simple, and they just like, also like Elon Musk built Colossus in like 9 months, right? So like maybe next year, Meta just do the same thing, like just a $1 billion deal with Anthropic or with OpenAI, and they start there, and then let's see how it goes. Maybe they are not going to do any consumer products like AWS have, like you can just go there and pay $1,000 per month if you want. Maybe that's not the idea. Maybe the idea is just to like massive deals with Google, with Anthropic, with OpenAI, at least at first, to see and to really just focus on the AI big contract, basically. I would do that if I were them, because that's much life easier.
So one of the other things that I'm trying to think about, right, Martin, is an analogous company in a different industry, or even in the tech space, one that said, we are making a ton of money doing X, but X is going to run out at some point, and we see that, and we have all this free cash flow, and we can borrow money, but we're not in business. Why? That's the new thing. And that company actually came into that new business with a ton of capex and then succeeded. I'm just trying to come up with an example of this. Let's go back to Kodak, right, which essentially invented the digital camera and never invested in it because they were just afraid of ruining their film business. But what Meta's essentially telling you is, we're not worried about ruining our ad business.
Yes.
First of all, one, we think it's going to be robust enough to at least last for the next however many years. But two, even if it goes away, we want to be in the next business, and we think AI is that next business, and that's going to be transformational, not just in the next 3 years, but in the next 25 years.
Yes.
Right? But here's it doesn't come without risk, right? I want to introduce this as well, and I don't want to be like a downer on it. I just want to give kind of both sides of this. If they can somehow get the procurement right, if they can start building data centers in the same way that Elon Musk did and SpaceX did through Colossus 1 and Colossus 2, they still run the risk of overinvesting and of having like yesterday's chips and then having to write that stuff down. And there's this like tension in the market, I think, where it's just like, we know we need AI infrastructure, but we're worried, right, that if we build out too fast, it's going to end up being like the fiber business in the early 2000s. And that even though, because the fiber business, it's slightly different, right? Because the fiber is still being used today because it wasn't reliant on any kind of new or sort of better technology.
Yeah.
But every year, NVIDIA, Cerebras, all these chip companies are going to come out with new and better chips, which means the existing chips today are never going to be as good as they are. Do you know what I mean? What is that?
So I think the best answer to this, Michael, is the quote of Mark Zuckerberg, September 19, 2025. Mark Zuckerberg said he would rather risk misspending a couple $100 billion.
I remember this while you were laughing. You said you're trying to find it.
Exactly. I was like, I have to find this tweet because just look at the mindset. He says, I'd rather misspend a couple hundreds of billions, Michael. It's not like a couple million, a couple hundred of million, even a couple billion, a couple hundred of billion. I would rather misspend
He's
couple
already
hundred billion.
money, right? So he's not lying.
Yeah, and this is his mentality, right? It's his mentality. He's like, let's just go big, and if we lose a lot of money, but at least we are part of the next big thing, we will figure it out. Which made me think about the question we had yesterday. You remember about what if Amazon lose all of its money into OpenAI and profit, and that's only 80 billion, right? Like, so that's what I feel we don't even realize that how these guys think and what's the scale that they are at, right? Like 80 billion is nothing compared to a couple 100 billion, right? And so we are at this stage right now where those big tech companies prefer misspending a couple hundreds of billions rather than doing nothing, basically. So yeah, I think this is just where we are at right now. So that's what, right now, if you can be a supplier to Meta, if you can sell them chips, sell them walls for their data centers, servers, or all of that, it's the right time to get in touch with them right now, because yeah, they may misspend a lot of money, and so there is probably opportunities to take some of that money for sure.
Exactly. So I want to make a point here as well.
Yeah.
The CEO, the chairman, and the chief technology officer of SpaceX is a guy you might have heard of called Elon Musk.
Okay.
Give me 1 second. Any idea who the CEO of Amazon is?
I don't remember his name.
But you have no idea. Let's be honest. Neither did I.
Yeah, he's not as popular as Elon Musk for sure.
But you knew it wasn't Jeff Bezos.
No.
Okay. And the only reason why I'm bringing this up is because Bezos obviously I don't want to call him a visionary because it's a way overused word, right? Like he was in the right place at the right time for a lot of different things, but he had a vision around like what Amazon should be. When someone pitched him the AWS business, you don't remember when AWS started, but I do. And it was controversial because they built the AWS business to scale Amazon.
Yeah. Okay.
So here's what happened, Martin. Actually, this is kind of interesting in the context of Facebook, right?
That's pretty much the same thing to me, no?
Same thing, but what Amazon did was they were like, and this is one of the things that has made the Amazon culture really great.
Okay.
Because while they were building out all of their own data centers and all their own servers and optimizing for this and optimizing for that, somebody internally was like, hey, if we need this, doesn't every other online company, and that means you can remove the online from that phrase, right? Doesn't that mean that every other company also needs this? And if they do, isn't this like a huge potential revenue generating business? Let's build more.
Yeah, this is
So AWS itself was an outgrowth of an internal sorry, what's the word I'm looking for? An internal project that said, let's optimize our own business. And then someone was like, let's just double down on this thing because we can sell this server business, this data business, this, data center business to everybody else. And now Meta's kind of catching up and going, oh, we need to do that too.
yeah.
And there was nothing stopping Meta from doing this when they first started, because again, they were pioneers in building their own internal stuff too. But they never had the idea of AWS
Yeah,
to go out
yeah.
and sell it to other people. And now they're like, oh, we should have done that years ago, but now we're doing it today. But my point is that like those businesses are all starting to look like each other. But here's the other thing on the flip side. I don't think Jeff Bezos is that much older or that much younger than Elon Musk.
Okay.
And you say what you will about Elon Musk, but he's still involved and still strategizing around what those businesses should look like, which is why you're right. Colossus 1 and Colossus 2 could get built in, pick a number. Let's just say a year. It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
But Bezos is out like having a $50 million wedding in Venice. Like he's just not involved anymore. You can laugh about it, but like
it's true. That's a good point. Yeah.
but Musk is out there going, how can I create more value? How can I, even if it's just for himself or his investors, it doesn't matter. He's like, what can I do? I can build data centers. I can do this thing. I'm going to build my own AI models because that's important. Even if I fail, it doesn't really matter. Now I have this consolidated business. We'll fold it all into SpaceX. And Bezos is like, do I need another yacht?
Yeah.
Or another helicopter?
No, it's true. The motivation is very different. Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
So my point is that like AWS itself, like Bedrock is great, but they don't have any of their own models. I just feel like SpaceX has just kind of run ahead. And the only reason why is because Bezos himself, who's very smart and very forward thinking, is no longer paying attention at the same level that Elon Musk is. Is that fair?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think Elon Musk, when he took the bet of compute for AI, like a long time ago, that was just the right bet, right? He was the first to see that we will need much more compute, and that may become like a complete new line of business, right? Or at least an opportunity to get into the cloud business, which is a massive business that we've seen with AWS and Azure and Microsoft, and Google Cloud, right? So also, like, I think like maybe we can see that in this way, Michael, as well. Like AWS built, Amazon built their cloud infrastructure for themselves. Then they were like, hey, everybody is going to go through the cloud hosting revolution, right? Like everybody's going to change the way that they host stuff for the cloud. So this is an opportunity for us to actually, as we need it, probably other people need that, so we can create AWS and create a service. So I think here it's pretty much the same thing. Like every company is going to go through the AI revolution, right? Meta is implementing that internally. They build a model, they deploy AI into all the departments of the company. And so they're like, we are doing it, so every other company will need it. Let's just participate in the new tech revolution, basically. And the best way to participate into that is to facilitate on the compute side. That's what we can do as definitely step one, right? So I think it's really similar here. I think it's really similar, and it worked really, really, really well for Amazon. And it's working really well for SpaceX so far. So yeah, I'm very bullish. I love it.
So Martin, I was just doing some very high level, sophisticated computational mathematics.
Okay.
And I'm going to share some of the results with you.
Tell me.
How old do you think Jeff Bezos is?
I think he's 60 something.
Perfect. He's 62 years old.
Okay.
How old is Elon Musk?
58.
55. Close enough.
Oh, okay.
How old is Mark Zuckerberg?
Oh, he's like 40 now? 42, 43?
42.
42. Wow. Okay. I'm good. I did tell them right.
The other reason why I bring this up is because when Zuckerberg is Bezos' age, Bezos is going to be 82 years old. And when Zuckerberg is Musk's age, Musk is going to be 68 years old, almost 70. Who here can take the long-term view?
Yeah, it's definitely Zuckerberg, yeah.
Yeah.
has
So again,
40 years
I'm
ahead of him.
simplifying this. Obviously, the
Yeah,
age
yeah.
itself isn't the only thing that matters. But if you want to make a bet on a long-term view,
Mm.
I think you can count Jeff Bezos out.
Yeah. Yes, yes,
And I
yes, yes,
don't
yes.
know that Andy Jassy, who's the CEO of Amazon itself, which is the owner of AWS, has as much of a long-term vision as Bezos.
Okay.
I don't know that.
Okay. Okay.
But I also know that Musk, he's running at like 1,000 miles an hour.
Yeah, best, yeah.
And how long can he keep that up?
Mm-hmm.
But Zuck is 52 and he's pretty fit. Do you know what I mean? And I'm not making a bet on just because he's younger, he's going to be better or whatever. But he can take this very long-term view on, like you said, if I overspend by a couple of $100 billion, why do I care? But that is the mindset of a man with time.
Yeah, no, it's true. And also, like, probably, like, like, probably they're like, look, when AI will be fully deployed everywhere, let's say in 10 years, okay, like
Yeah.
when it's going to be fully deployed in insurance, in healthcare, in real estate, like all of these massive industries that are the largest industries in the world and that are not touched by AI at all as of now, right? Like
Today,
once
yeah.
we get to that point, they are like, you know what, like the company, first of all, these companies, like the insurance and all of that, and also the AI companies are going to be worth what, right? Like, where are we going to be? Like, today we are at 4 trillion, 5 trillion for the largest company in the world. In 10 years, when AI will be fully deployed everywhere, what's going to be the number? Are we talking 10,
Yeah.
15, 20, right? Like, and I think this is why he said that, look, if we invest 500 billion right now, if we lose 500 billion right now to be worth 10 trillion in 5 years, it's fine, right? Like
It is
everything
fine.
is going to be absolutely fine. And so that's why I think that's what they see here. And because they have time, as you just said, when they're like, you know what, in 10 years, the 500 billion we lose right now are going to be peanuts compared to what we are going to be worth, right? So
Right.
so that's why we get to we and I think this is really the massive difference between Meta and Shopify, for example.
Yep.
Meta, if they want to be worth 10 trillion in 5, 8, 10 years, they need to be one of the biggest player in AI. And because we don't know what that means, but they got to be everywhere. They got to be on the
Right.
model. They got to be on the compute. Maybe the chips as well at some point. Like they got to try absolutely everything to have the most chance of being successful and capturing most of the value in AI in 5, 10, 15 years. So they are not left out of the biggest company in the world, basically,
Right.
right? So I think that's the way that I see that.
So a couple more points I want to make, and I'm not disagreeing with you at all. Think about how we as a company earn revenue, and then think about how we decide to take some of that money off to the side and say, how can we invest this money? And even if we lose all of it, it was worth the investment of trying to turn that money into more business.
Yes.
But we do it. We have this conversation all the time. We've done it plenty. That's how we got here.
Exactly. You're like, okay, should I try that? Do I want to try that? Like, what if that doesn't work? Does it hurt my business or not? Or if it works, then what's the upside, right? Like all of these things, that's just the way you think about your own business.
Because doing nothing is not an option.
No, you're doing nothing.
Never. If you want your business to grow, doing nothing and just kind of riding a wave is not an option. You have to take a little bit of risk. And I bet if you do some math and you look at the way we risk money to build a business, particularly from a market cap standpoint, I was just looking, what is Amazon's market cap? It's $2.6 trillion.
Okay.
Meta's market cap is 1.5 approximately.
Okay.
So if they lose a few $100 billion, as Zuckerberg said, who cares?
Exactly. Nobody cares.
Who cares?
Yeah, exactly.
It's just like us. If we lose a few $100 million, like why do we care? Why are you laughing? I don't understand.
That's true. And especially if this helps you to build a $5 trillion business, $10 trillion business in 10 or 15 years, right? Like, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day, right? Like, when you have time.
Because otherwise, you're going to go bankrupt either way, right?
Yeah.
So you should at least try to do something as opposed to do nothing. And this is the Kodak problem. Like, what we just watched it go away. And Meta's like, I'm not watching this go away.
Yeah, and I think another example of you go away, like a possibility to go away, is Shopify, right? Like
Exactly.
Shopify,
Exactly.
because they don't have their own data centers, because they didn't invest the money, basically, they didn't take the risk like Zuck is doing all the time,
Yep.
right? Like because they were so conservative, now they can't participate in the AI race. So now they are worth what? Let's say $200 billion. They are going to keep growing maybe the 5 to 10% year over year, and that's it. So maybe right now they are in the top 200 companies in the world, but in 10 years they are going to be in the top 10,000, because everybody is going to be able to grow so much more. And if you are an investor, where do you want your money to be? Into a company that's going to make 5 to 10% a year, or in a company that can double its value for 1.5 trillion to 10 trillion in 10 years, right?
Exactly.
So this is exactly this type of situation that we are in right now, and why Shopify is losing so much money, because they have no way to double or triple or even
No.
more their value, because they can't participate in the AI race, right? So that's why like it's such an interesting business like synergy here, right? Like there's so much stuff going on, and at the end of the day, it's true that if you invest the money, you if you can afford it, if you can take the risk, and you have time, you are very, very, very likely to succeed. And if you succeed, then it can be transformational for you. Yeah,
Yeah, and you're way more likely to succeed if you do something, if you do anything rather than
exactly.
doing nothing. And
Yeah.
Shopify's market cap is almost literally 1/10 of Meta's market cap.
Okay, so they are below 150 billion.
It's 100. That's why I said almost. It's
Okay.
$156 billion.
Oh wow.
But
And they lost
again,
how much in the last 6 months? It's huge, right?
how much has it gone down?
Yes.
Well, let's just take a look at the chart. Yeah, the price went from essentially from 160 to 120.
Okay, so 40.
So
40%.
25%.
Wow, imagine. It's insane, right? It's insane.
Yeah. But
And
also,
I
go
yeah,
ahead.
and I mean they didn't lose to 25% of their income. They didn't lose
Oh,
25% of their
their
clients.
quarterly revenue is up 34%.
Oh, really? That's insane. So look, like they have amazing growth in terms of income, and they still lose so much money in terms of valuation. It really just shows that nobody's bullish on the future. Or actually, no, let's rephrase that.
No.
It really shows that people believe that other companies are going to
Yes.
make more progress,
It's a
right? Like
relative.
that's
You're right.
yeah,
That's a much better way to phrase it.
yeah,
People are making a
it's relative.
relative bet. They're
Yeah.
going like,
Mhm.
Shopify's a great company. It's going to
Amazing.
grow. But
Yeah.
but if I'm going to allocate my capital and make an investment decision, other companies are going to grow way more.
Way more. Yeah.
And the projected growth, because again, the stock market is it's a predictive mechanism.
Yeah.
And they're saying, I'm predicting that company X is going to make more than Shopify
Yes. And
or
so
grow
if I
more. And I want to be in that investment, and I'm not saying Shopify is a terrible business, but as an
no, it's
investor, you're
great.
thinking, I want to be in the one that's going to grow 100% a year or 200% a year over time, not 34% a year.
Yeah, exactly. And that thing right now is AI, right? And we are still at the beginning of the deployment of AI into all the companies in the world, right?
Yep.
And so that's where the huge potential is for massive growth. And companies like Shopify who don't participate in this AI deployment, they are not just as they just don't have the potential that Meta is building for themselves right now, right? Like right now, Meta can show you a model, and they can also show you compute, right? Like now we have two things, and this is strong. This is really, really strong. Now we can be like, okay, they may be the one who are going to make a lot of money in 5 to 10 years.
Exactly. The one other thing to watch on the Meta side of this business is their customer concentration. It's just something to think about in the future, right? Because how many customers will they have that actually sign up, and how many of them will be long-standing customers,
Mhm,
right? Because if they just have like 3 big clients and a bunch of other like little ones,
mhm,
it's gonna determine what the pricing or what the valuation is around that cloud business. But if they can just sign up, like if everybody who advertises on Meta,
mhm,
it's an enterprise, also uses their cloud business,
mhm.
it could be one of the fastest growing businesses in the
Oh,
world.
yeah. I mean, if we find a way to bundle everything, like it would be insane, absolutely insane. Because let's just remind people, like, how much money is Meta making with advertising? Like 240 billion, something like that.
Something insane. Yeah, it's
Yeah, close
200
like
and
that.
25, 35, something like that. Yeah.
And it is, as of today, the company that sell the most in terms of ads. They became first before Google last year, right? Michael, do I get like
Yes.
these numbers right? So it was Google number one forever until last year Meta became first. So the advertising business, first of all, is massive, but also works really, really, really well. To be so good, you need the company who are buying ads from you to make money, right? It needs to work, right? And
Yep.
the engine that they have built to actually find the clients for you is just next level, right? And so plus they already have, sorry, they still have a lot of users across their collection of apps, plus Facebook, plus Instagram, plus WhatsApp. That's the top three. And so this gives them like massive user base, and then the engine that does the ads is so good, find the client for you, and you have all the companies in the world, all the top advertisers spend money on Meta. Really, it's a platform that you have to be on, and you have to be advertising once again because it works really, really well, and it
Yeah.
makes money for their clients, right? That's at the end of the day what matters. When you spend
Exactly.
money on Meta, you make money. Okay, when you are Apple, and here we are not necessarily talking about the SMEs, we are talking about Apple, Mercedes, BMW, like really the guys who have hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars of budget globally, right? Like
Yeah,
it's
and
like,
let's be clear, you
yeah,
you were almost exactly spot on for their projected ad revenue business for
okay.
2026, which was $243 billion,
Oh la la,
which is
100 million dollars.
20% higher than last year.
Okay.
2024 was 165, 2023 was 131, 2022 was 113, but there was a contraction because of some tax implications.
Mm,
Um,
sure.
their ad business is on fire.
Is on fire. That's the best in the world as of now. It also works really, 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 really well. So no, and so which means that they have a lot of trust and a lot of relationship with the top brands in the world and globally, right? Like people spend money on Meta, and I mean, real companies spend a lot of money on Meta. So they already have great relationship. They already have all the relationship with all the top brands. Let's see how like there's still this big question of like what are they doing with AI. It's still
Yeah, yeah.
not clear, right? Like Spark is not for developers, is not for the advertising yet. It's not really for the user yet. Like you can go on any of the Meta app and you have a little button to ask AI and it can help you to, I don't know, answer some question. But it's not super clear yet, like what is Spark doing and who is it for, and we don't have like a breakthrough use case, I would say, yet, right? So are they working on it? Is it coming? Is it why they do compute much faster? Because they did a plan B, right? Like there's all of these questions, but they have option now and they can grow. They are in the right direction, and that's one of my top four in terms of the company's ambush.
I want to make another point because we frequently make a comparison between like why Shopify doesn't have their own cloud business
Yeah.
and why, frankly, like first of all, I don't know the name of the Shopify CEO or the founder. I don't know it off the top of my head.
Toby Lutke. I probably say it very badly, but that's the name.
Right. But like what would have stopped Shopify from looking out 3 years ago and saying this AI thing is going to be a thing?
Exactly.
And to participate in it, we need to have our own data centers and we need to build our own models. And since we're going to use AI to facilitate more business, more sales, more
Yeah.
everything on our platform,
Yeah.
shouldn't we spend some money and invest money into this AI business?
For
And I
sure.
want to give a scale comparison, right? Because again, their revenue's up a lot. But and let's do a little bit of explanation here so people can understand the difference in scale. There has been a revenue explosion,
Okay.
okay, at Shopify. In
Yes, true.
2021,
When they,
Shopify's revenue
that's when they became a fintech. Yeah. Go ahead.
was $2.9 billion.
2021, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And their revenue in 2025 was $11.56 billion.
Wow. Massive.
It's massive, but it's not $200 billion.
Yeah, no, this is actually a very good point. In a way, they had the vision to grow the company by becoming a fintech, which in 2020 was impressive, right?
Yep,
Because all of this money, extra money, comes from Shopify Pay, basically
yep,
Shop Pay,
yep, yep.
and this is, I think, if my numbers are correct, more than 70% of Shopify income now comes from the payment side. So
So
basically
good for
all the
them, right?
fees. So that's great for them. But we can see that also as a massive fail because it was just a small bet. It was just small bets, right?
That's
It
my point.
just it
But
just
they
had
couldn't even have
yeah,
afford. Like the reason why I want to point this
yeah,
out, right, was
yeah.
because
Mm,
you had to have $100 billion of revenue, so you could commit $100 billion of capex
Yeah, that's
into
also another
building a multi-trillion-dollar business. So
yeah.
even if Shopify team got together and said we need to be in the AI business,
Mm.
they could have looked around at the board level or at the C-suite and just gone, "How are we ever going to pay for it?
Yes.
How are
That's
we
a
going to
possible
invest in it? Because the
explanation.
capex, if they do the math, and I'm sure they have a good finance team there, but if they do the math, they're like, to build this out, we need $100 billion. And they're like, where's that money going to come from?
Yeah.
And that's why it's impressive what's happening at Facebook or at Meta,
Yes.
excuse me, because they looked at their revenue and they said, our revenue gives us the ability to change course, and other companies won't be able to do this.
And they changed twice. They did the metaverse, and now they do it again. Like it's really bold, right? Like it's really
Very bold.
bold. It's absolutely insane, right? And so we talked about Shopify just as a proxy for other companies, right?
Exactly.
Like
Yeah, yeah.
just
And
because
it's a
that's a
good
business.
company. It's not like some crappy
Yes,
company. Yeah.
exactly. And that's a business that we know very well, so that's why.
Very
But I
well.
think
Yeah.
it's also the case for many other
Agreed. It's indicative of the same
companies.
position that
Yes.
other companies
Yeah.
are in. Yeah.
Yes, and that may explain why a lot of companies are actually losing a lot of value on the stock markets, right? Not only Shopify, they are not the only one, but
No.
for the same reason, because they can't participate into the AI growth that's coming. And so, yeah, so that's why, like, maybe one of the possibilities is that they didn't have the vision, right? They just didn't see it coming.
Right.
Or we can say that, okay, they are really good, they did the math, and they were just too small to be able to participate.
Right.
They
Because
just didn't have
even
the
if they
money.
did the
Yeah.
vision, it wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah, they just have with 2 billion or even $10 billion of revenue. How do you invest 100 billion, right? Maybe there was just no solution to participate, right?
Exactly.
But I would say Shopify I would tend to think, Michael, like my feeling towards this company specifically is that they did the small bet. They did the fintech bet, and they didn't see the big one. They were not ready to take the risk. Like Shopify hasn't taken any risk since it works,
So do
really.
you want to hear something really
Yes.
radical? Here's a
Yeah.
radical idea.
Tell me.
What does Amazon have that Meta doesn't have?
The marketplace.
That they have an e-commerce business.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that Shopify is the same thing as Amazon from an e-commerce
Mhm.
perspective,
Mhm.
but I'm not saying that it's not either. Could you imagine a situation where this is a free idea, by the way, for anybody at Meta that's listening? Do you want to look like Amazon even more? You want to be in the cloud business. You want to be in the AI business. You want to have 2 billion monthly average users. You want to be in the
Yeah.
fintech business. Why not just go out and buy Shopify?
Yeah.
Because imagine what would happen if Shopify became the biggest customer of Meta's cloud business to start, and second of all, the biggest customer of Meta's model business.
So yeah, there's two things really interesting if we entertain this idea. The first one is Shopify bill to AWS is massive because they use AWS data
Sure.
centers, so there is like a huge expense of a huge part of
Already.
their revenue that goes to AWS. So which means if you're Meta and you acquire Shopify and you migrate everything on Meta Cloud, that's money that just come back automatically, right? Like that's stream of income from day one, right? Then that's the first thing that's interesting. The second thing that is interesting is that a lot, if not all, of the largest Shopify stores advertise on Meta.
I know
So,
that's the point. This is why I'm making this point.
there is already a huge part of the traffic that goes from Meta to the Shopify infrastructure, right? And Instagram has always tried, and on Facebook as well, to create like Instagram Shop and try to integrate commerce into their app, but it was always a little bit clunky and
Like TikTok.
never really able to yet. Or so TikTok Shop did it really well. It works well, but on Instagram they have never found the recipe. And so if tomorrow they have something like Shopify, they can probably do a much better in the integration and
This is a
create a
really good
service.
idea. I should be an
Yeah.
investment banker too, shouldn't I?
And so then they could also like work on this part of commerce, which they have been trying to do since like really more over 10 years, but it's never working. So So yeah, actually, Shopify at what, $150 billion right now, right? Seems like a really, really cheap. But then is there like a lot of potential? Like they can't participate in the AI race. Like, would you put 150 billion into Shopify or into a three d- data centers?
I think it's
Like,
both because
yeah.
you gain so much when you buy Shopify. And maybe they can't afford to invest in their own business, but Meta definitely can.
hmm Yeah. Yeah, no, it's true. It's true, but in the end, so once again, we use Shopify as a proxy for other companies
Yeah.
that can't participate themselves in the AI race, either because they are too small or they don't have their own data centers, and so they cannot take the level of risk that Mark Zuckerberg can.
He's not even close.
Not even close. Yes, but yeah,
Not even close. But again, but one more thing,
mhm,
they can take the same relative level of risk. Like they could literally spend $10 billion
mhm.
trying to make the Shopify platform better,
Yeah,
but they can't
no,
spend 10 times as much money because their revenue is 10 times lower.
yes,
And if they spent, if Shopify committed to $135 billion of capex for 2026 or 2027,
mhm,
its stock price would go to like half. You know what I mean? It would be cut in half because people are like, they're insane.
mhm, 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 mhm.
And they're just not known for that level of risk
Exactly.
taking, nor that level of corporate reinvention.
Yeah. Yes, yes, that's exactly that. I think Tobias has been the CEO of Shopify since they launched, basically, right? So like he probably
Mm,
have his vision, what he wants to do, and then it just go through that, right? Like the move to fintech was a good move for them, but it was not the biggest move that they could have made, for sure.
okay,
Yeah.
sorry, you were going to say something. You want to move on?
No, 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 yeah, yeah. Like, I mean, if in the chat anyone has any question about compute, about like what it means for the other companies, also what do you guys think about it? Feel free to let us know, and yeah, we can move on to the next topic, the next meta topic as well.
Okay, let's move on to the next topic. I don't think. Do you want to do Apple or do you want to do the glasses? What do you want to do?
Maybe we do the Meta glasses quickly first, because it's related to Meta, and then we do
Okay.
Apple.
So Meta looks like it's going to try to move its glasses business, which again, from a revenue standpoint, is not that large, but still is an interesting way because they're probably going to run some of their AI business through their glasses business. Yeah.
Yes, 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 yes.
So it makes it interesting, but they're moving part of this smart glass business that they've done in conjunction with Luxottica or Ray-Ban. Yeah.
Mhm.
From a hardware feature model, in other words, we have this hardware platform to a usage tier model, which is actually really interesting to me.
Okay,
It's almost like the Aura Ring, Martin.
okay,
They want like the here is that the idea here is that they want to have a paid plan. So they want to give the glasses out. They want to test this. They want to say,
hmm
if you don't pay anything for this, you can have free per month 3 hours of use, or 15 hours per month if you're a Meta One premium subscriber.
okay,
And I don't know what Meta One Premium gives you, but it's like essentially $20 a month.
okay, okay,
And Meta says that like no subscription is required to use the glasses,
okay,
but certain features of the glasses now have monthly usage limits.
okay.
Yeah, and the tone in your voice sounds very skeptical. You're like, okay, but which we don't, I don't know off the top of my head like
Mhm.
which ones of these things, but the idea is that Meta's trying to make these AI glasses a computing platform in the same way that Apple tried to do with Vision Pro.
Yes.
Okay. And but Apple charged for Vision Pro, but didn't charge a subscription price for using it.
Yet. I think that's gonna come. Not to use the hardware itself, but we're gonna have a $20 subscription to Apple AI that includes something. I'm sure. I'm sure this is gonna come.
Hmm. It's just super interesting to see that, like, up until now, they weren't charging anything for these
Yes.
glasses except the cost of the
Yes.
glasses themselves.
True. Yep.
So
True, 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 true.
what do we think about this as a going forward venture here?
Yeah, so first of all, first point is like it's another line of business for Meta, right? Like they are really doing a lot of stuff, investing a lot of money and doing a lot of different things. So I think that's once again something interesting that they are pushing. They really want to, grow their company beyond the advertising platform. So that's nice to see, I would say.
Mm.
That's the first thing. Then I was trying to think like, is there other models where we don't pay for the hardware but we pay for subscription? For example, Whoop works this way. Like
Yep.
their latest fundraise valued them at $10 billion, if I remember correctly.
Yep. Yep.
And they basically give you the Whoop for free, and then they charge you like 200, 250 or more per year to actually get
Wait a
access to the
second. The Whoop
data.
is not free.
No, they give you, I mean, they say the hardware is free. They also say if we launch a new one, then you are going to get the new device itself for free, as long as you are still a subscriber to the
Really?
platform. Yes.
Let me make. Sorry, I need to make a phone call now.
So yeah, you have to get the subscription to get the hardware, but
Whoop. I need to
they
make a call to Whoop. Sorry, give me a moment. Sorry, go
but
ahead.
they say it's free basically, and they give you the new one. So that is an example of something that works really well at scale. Once again, their latest fundraise valued them at 10 billion. And then I think we are going in the direction with on-device AI of, at some point, if it works, if Apple launch proper AI on device and it's good and it works well, they are going to include some amount of usage for free on device, and then for the harder task, for what requires more compute and that the on-device AI cannot do, and we need to
Yep.
connect to a stronger AI, that is going to be part of the plan. So for example, right now we are paying $200 per month to Claude for the Max plan. I definitely see something like that, but through Apple AI, because once again, the distribution mechanism is just so strong, right? Like if they do something like this, they can be on 2 billion like devices around the world, where you can get your $100 plan, $20 plan, $200 plan to have access to AI on the cloud directly from Apple AI, and that's going to be
Exactly.
super, super strong. So I think if we go into that route, that if the V1 of Apple on device works, which means they can help us do some tasks for free with on device AI, then I think the next step is going to be the subscription. And so it's kind of enter into this idea, right? Like we give you the tech and we charge you for subscription for extra feature, and then it looks like we are going there. But what's weird is that it was not announced like this at first, right? It was not sold like this. So that's why I think there's a lot of questions and people wondering, but like, what does it mean? Like, where are we going? And things like this. Because people thought they buy the glasses and then it just worked, right? So, and now you're telling me that we don't have a subscription and all of these. Plus the glasses are pretty cheap. It's like $250. So we are not talking about like a $3,000-$4,000 computer. We're talking about something like that's accessible to a lot of people.
Yep.
Where a $20 plan is like basically the price of the glasses per year, right?
But
So
also companies like Apple,
Mm.
and we'll get to this in a moment as well, are already charging subscriptions, and people forget about this. Like iCloud, they charge you a subscription for.
Yes.
Google Cloud is not free.
Yes. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So there are subs for all these types of businesses. Just
Mhm.
because the glasses are like a physical product that normally you would buy, but with all the additional features that a glass is, like if you just go out and buy Ray-Bans, you own them forever.
Yes.
But if you go buy Ray-Bans that have like services associated with them, like, does it not make sense that you have to pay a subscription for it?
For sure. I think it makes complete sense. And especially if this comes with cloud capacity, right? Like if the AI that they put inside the glasses is actually so strong that it cannot run on device, then it
Yeah,
needs
this
to
is
go
also
to the
yeah.
cloud.
Yeah.
And so then, which means if you pay a subscription, then they can give you access to a much stronger AI, which means at the end of the day, the glasses may be able to do much more things and be much more helpful, right? Like so.
Sure.
So yeah, no, I think it makes complete sense. I think it's just like a little bit weird that they announced that now. They should have launched a new product or do something new, to just make the
Yeah.
documentation a little bit more clear, because
Right,
now
they
it's
should have come out
like,
with a new version of the glasses that has
yeah,
like better capacity or better components or whatever it is, and then
exactly, yeah.
said, and because of the newness of this,
Mm.
and in conjunction with the other businesses that we're running, now we're going to charge us, not even now, but this new set of services
Yeah.
is subscription based, without making the distinction between what they have today and what they're gonna sell on their new product, whatever that means, right?
Yeah, because if you buy something and then all of a sudden you are rate limited and you thought you would have it, right?
Yep. Yep.
That's why they titled this article like Meta is adding ridiculous rate limits, right? It doesn't feel good, right? That if tomorrow,
But that's why I wanted you
yeah,
to show that. That's why I picked that as the link, because I wanted you to show it to people, because is it ridiculous?
yeah, no, for sure, no. The idea
And I
is
don't
good,
think you
right? Like,
think
yeah,
so either.
no,
Yeah.
yeah. It's more like maybe like the communication around this that is a little bit clunky, let's say. But no, if you give me a subscription and I understand why, and there are services that comes with it, make complete sense. Once again, we pay for iCloud, we pay for Google Drive, like all of these freemium models that give you a premium version if you pay for it, right? So
But also, Martin, like you, I mean, your phone implementation and my phone implementation are slightly different, but you still do pay a monthly subscription for using the phone.
yeah,
Yeah, our
it's true,
usage
yeah.
is different, but like I pay a monthly sub, you pay a monthly sub. I have friends that do the same thing you do. They don't want to make phone calls, but they want to have access all the time, right? What's
Yes.
the difference? Your just because your glasses are on your face and you're not carrying it
Yeah.
around means you shouldn't pay a subscription to access the internet on them. Like, it's weird, right?
Yeah, like also like the iPad, they have a version of the iPad with a SIM card, right?
Yeah.
And so then thanks to the SIM card, you have access to the internet on your iPad without Wi-Fi, right? And
Yep.
that is something that people understand very well, right? So
Yeah.
that's why I feel like the idea here is it makes sense, it's fine, it's cool, it's good. Just maybe like the communication is like could have been better, right? If they had said, look, we launched a new version of our Meta Ray-Ban glasses, and you are going to be able to put a SIM card inside of that, people wouldn't be like, oh, now I need to pay for a subscription, right? Like people are going to be, wow, now I can connect to the internet. That's super cool, right? Like so just the perception based on the
And can I
communication.
make another point about this business? So Reality Labs, which is the division that's associated with their smart glasses, lost $19 billion in 2025
Oh, wow. Okay.
on $2 billion of revenue.
Okay.
But there was no subscription.
Yeah.
And let's do a little bit of quick math. They sold, what did we say, 2 million pairs of glasses?
Yeah, I think that's something like that, yeah. 2 million.
So let's do 2 million.
We'll
One
be
second.
far from the billion. Huh?
Well, if you multiply it by $20 per month.
So that's 40 per month. That's half a billion. If everybody subscribes.
If everybody subscribes, right?
Yeah. That's $500 million.
But that's if they just sell 2 million. You know how many iPhones Apple sells every year?
Yeah, what's the number? It's insane.
80 million.
80 million iPhone every year. Wow.
And we can, when we segue into our next topic, we'll talk about that. But they've ordered 80 million of their iPhone 18s. Sorry, I don't want to do the podcast before we get to the podcast, but you know what I mean.
Yes. But I feel like it's an interesting category, like to like this, like basically also like I think this really like linked to a broader trend I think here, and that's probably gonna be the perfect segue to the Apple story just after, which is using hardware for distribution. Right, like it looks like
Yeah.
the Apple model is actually showing to everybody that even if you don't do anything AI for 4 years, right, you can still make billions because your hardware are actually a distribution mechanism for everybody else, right? Like the same way we use social media to distribute e-commerce or any other thing, the same
Exactly.
way, like a grocery store is a distribution mechanism for a lot of product. And so when you get into Walmart, for example, then boom, all of a sudden you have like 1,000 store, you can make ton of sales, and that's completely changed the nature of your business. Apple is the same, like because they have billions of devices in the wild, they are actually a distribution mechanism first for Google. Like how much does Google pay them to be the main browser on Apple?
$20 billion a year.
Yeah, they made like $20 billion cash just because Google wants to be the default browser there. It's just absolutely insane. And so now I think Apple is just showing to everybody that, yeah, a big network of hardware is actually really, really worthwhile, because then we can charge the other guys who want to sell software, like AI, for example,
Exactly.
really, really, really expensive. And so I think this is like what's the broader trend here. Like Meta is not doing glasses, they are redoing hardware, right? And they found glasses as a way to enter the hardware market.
Exactly.
And then the real money is actually becoming a distribution mechanism for the software behind that. So that's what they are doing here, right? Like they are trying to sell the software via a subscription. It's probably their own software, but tomorrow it can be any AI, it can be any software if they have a network that's big enough. So that's probably why they sold the glasses so cheap, right? Like $250 for the glasses was pretty cheap, right? And they reduced the price as well this year, I think twice. So I think that fits really well into this idea of just building a network, basically, of hardware, selling a lot of them, and then using that as a distribution mechanism for the next thing.
Speaking of which,
Speaking of which, Apple.
let's talk about Apple. So for the first time, not in Apple's history, because they've changed the distribution mechanism and the sort of output for their iPhones 3 or 4 times during the lifestyle of the iPhone. I remember there was Steve Jobs famously once said, "We're just going to have one model."
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he said a bunch of interesting things, like nobody wants a 6-inch iPhone, and now they make huge iPhones. It doesn't really matter. This year, though, the iPhone Pro line is going to come out before the regular iPhone 18 line. And
Okay.
they're also going to introduce a foldable phone that they're calling iPhone Ultra.
Okay.
Now, we can have our own opinions on it, but originally they were going to have a target of 7 to 8 million phones and roughly
Okay.
70 million iPhone Pro and Pro Maxes,
Okay.
which obviously are going to be their biggest sellers and their biggest money makers. Yeah. What do you have?
4.
You have an iPhone Pro or what? Pro Max?
Oh, yeah, no, Pro. Mine is a Pro.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You are the guy who buy the Max.
What does that mean?
It's just too big
What
for
kind
me.
of guy is that?
Exactly, no. We don't need that much. I know that you don't need that much, but you like to have the biggest one, so.
Okay. And they're also now being told to prepare for their suppliers are now being told to prepare for up to 10 million of these foldable phones.
Wow.
And it is 85 million new iPhones in the second half of 2026. So just think about like 10 million foldable ultras. And I wanted to talk about this because I wanted to point out that the device is expected to sit well above the normal iPhone price ladder.
Above.
And
Okay.
yeah, so like what is I can only think about this in Thai baht terms. So give me 1 second because that's where I live.
Okay.
Give me 1 second. An iPhone in dollar terms costs like $1,300.
Okay.
Okay. Around 45,000 Thai baht, whatever. And that's like with the lowest amount of storage on it, just like your bog standard, I think, iPhone Pro or iPhone Pro Max.
Yeah.
The iPhone foldable, or whatever you want to call it, the iPhone Ultra is going to sell for $2,500, Martin.
2,500? If you want to double the price?
$2,500.
Basically,
That's
it's like 2 iPhone, right? Like 2
Yeah,
iPhone
that's
that they
like
put next to each other.
83,000 baht. What are we doing?
Oh, wow.
And with some of the higher capacity, the storage versions, potentially reaching $3,000. That's for a phone that's going to ship 10 million units, they think.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I just want to point this out, right? So
wait. What's it? Is it like for the entry level price, like the equivalent of the Pro or the normal iPhone, or is it like for the biggest fully spaced iPhone?
No. It's just going to be $2,500 for like the entry level foldable phone.
Wow. Okay.
But you're right, Martin, because it has two screens, maybe it is like double the components or whatever. But also, there's a hinge on there that's like is very highly engineered and all this other kind of
So
stuff, right?
okay, that's great. Okay, so let's give some number. While you were speaking about that, I was doing some research to compare with Samsung. Okay, that has been selling foldable phones for what? A couple of years now, right? It's not new. It's not
More than
weird.
that, because we know somebody that actually had one a few years
Yeah,
ago. So yeah,
yes,
yeah,
yes.
yeah,
So it's been, I don't know, 5, 6 years, maybe something like this, I would say,
yeah.
approximately, right?
And Samsung has they have this super innovative name for their foldable phone,
Which is Fold.
the Samsung Fold.
Exactly.
Go ahead.
So they aim to sell in 2026 7 million foldable phones, Samsung.
Okay.
Okay. That they sold in 2024 5.2 million.
Wow, that's a lot.
Okay.
More than I would have
And
expected. No.
yep. So they sold 5.2 million. I mean, compared to the 80 million iPhones, like it's tiny, huh? But okay. They sold like 5 million globally. Okay.
But 5 million of their foldable phones.
Yes, 5 million of the foldable phone globally, and they want to get to 7 this year in 2026. Okay. And they are the leader on the market. I can't say exactly like the
In the
market
foldable
share.
phone space, Samsung
Yes,
definitely winning. Yeah,
but it looks like they have more than 50% market share,
for
okay,
sure.
in this market. So let's just do some math. Let's say they have exactly 50% market share and they sell 5 million units,
Mm,
which means the market as of today is 10 million phones,
right.
okay? And the
The whole
price of the
market.
yes, the whole market, okay, like globally it's approximately 10, maybe 12, 13, something like that, okay, approximately. Their phone in terms of price starts, the Fold 7 starts at $1,100. Okay.
Which
And
is less than the
than the iPhone.
iPhone Pro.
Yes. And the highest specs is at $2,000. Okay, so it goes from $1,100 to $2,000 for the biggest specs, stronger specs. And in this price range, the market is 10 million phones globally. So what you
Mm.
tell me is Apple want to add another 8 million to the market. So they want to grow the market by
10 million.
80%.
They're ordering 10 million of these phones
Okay,
from their
10
suppliers.
million.
They're telling their suppliers to get ready for 10 million phones, so double
Okay.
the size of the market, and that
So
they're
they,
going to take the entire doubled size.
yes, so yeah. So they want to double the market. They want to get the entire growth. You are right, like zero for the others, and plus they want to double the price. So, so because right now we are at 1.1, if you take the entry level Samsung, $1,100. So you want to get from 1.1 to 2.5, and you want to double the size of the market. It looks insane to me, Michael. It looks insane. It's like you launch a new car and you expect that all of a sudden there is twice more people in the country to actually buy it at twice the price. So, or like they really believe that people who do not have a foldable iPhone and who did not buy a Samsung foldable phone are actually going to buy it. So maybe they are not targeting the foldable phone market, they are targeting the iPhone market, people who didn't switch to the foldable phone because it's only Samsung, but they really want a foldable phone, but they want it from Apple, and they believe that this market is 10% of iPhone users. One iPhone user out of 10 actually want a foldable phone, but not from Samsung. They want it from Apple.
Right.
That's basically what the numbers tell us. So tell us in the chat. I don't want a foldable phone. Michael don't want one. Do you have an iPhone? And do you want one? We need one person out of 10 to say yes to spend $2,500
But
on
can
the
I say
foldable
this
phone.
too? Even if I did want a foldable phone,
Yeah.
there's no way I'm paying $2,500 for it because I could literally get a MacBook Pro for $2,500.
It's true. It's a good point. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, most of the time, Apple is pretty good at like launching new product, pricing things. Like they rarely make mistake, I would say. Like besides the Vision Pro that didn't work, and maybe they did an experiment with something else. That's true. That's a possibility. But besides that, normally it works what they are doing. Huh? So I
there are
really wonder.
a few other points to make. Apple is probably buying the screens from Samsung.
That would be funny.
So Samsung can charge themselves less for the screens than they charge Apple. Second of all, Samsung has been making them now for 5 years, as you said. So they're probably much more efficient at their manufacturing process and understanding like what needs to actually be in these phones than Apple does, because Apple has not launched this product yet.
Yeah.
The other thing is, how many people do you know that have bought an iPhone Air?
Ooh, not a lot. Huh?
I don't know anybody.
Yeah, not a lot. Yeah.
So I don't know if anybody's going to buy this iPhone Fold. And to be fair, when our friends that we know bought this Samsung Fold, they bought it because it was kind of a novelty. And the entire time they used it, they were like, I hate this phone.
Yeah.
We've talked about it before.
And they went back to
and they went back to like a standard whatever. I think they bought a Samsung phone as well. I don't remember, to be fair.
Yes.
But they went back to just like what a regular phone looks like today. Right, and I understand the cachet. You tell me this, Martin. Tell me you don't, when you're walking around and you see people carrying a phone in a case, you don't look back at the camera array and go, oh, that's not an iPhone.
I don't care personally, but but yeah, I think people do that, yes.
I know people that do that. I know people named Michael that do that.
Exactly. Exactly.
Everybody I know named Michael actually does that.
So also maybe like a bit of more information that we can share is that it looks like Apple targets productivity users with an iPad-like 4:3 aspect ratio. Okay, so it's not like the iPad user, the productivity users, but like, do we really need like a screen that's in between the iPhone and the iPad?
No,
So
there's
it's
an
like
iPad mini for that if you really want one.
yeah, like, do we really need something in between? But so like,
Nah.
okay, so I think it's weird, but also like, what does it tell us with the broader AI strategy here? Because if we go back to this idea of like the hardware become the distribution network for something else, right? And potentially for AI as well, right? Like, it's a huge opportunity for Apple to sell AI through their hardware network. Why do they do something so expensive and so out of touch, right? Like, if at least they made it cheap or accessible for people, at least they would sell more and maybe get some market share from Samsung, and then be at least compete at the same level. At least go to the same price range to at least get some market share from them, and then make money on the subscription for AI in 2 years when it's ready, right? So that's also like what I don't understand here, like why it's not the strategy here, right? Yeah, I think it's really a weird thing. It looks like creating its own markets that nobody asked for, really.
Yeah, I agree. And they're changing the whole market, right? Because Samsung has literally spent years building this category, and you're right. And they've only been able to sell 5 million, which is half the size of the market, which means the total market's only 10 million. And Apple thinks they're just going to rock up and literally like double the size of the market and take all of that growth just for themselves.
Yeah, I think they believe that there is so many iPhone user, I mean 10 million of them, who really want a foldable phone, but they don't want to switch to Samsung. So they believe that market is actually as big as the entire foldable phone market in the world. So okay, fair enough. I mean, once again, Apple's good, right? Like, they have probably done a lot of study and a lot of surveys and a lot of that. It's probably not numbers that come out of nowhere, but it's surprising. Let's say it this way. It's really surprising that they are making this product at this scale and at this price.
So the other comment I'll make, and then maybe we can end here, is that they're also in the process of switching CEOs right now. This was clearly a product that was approved by a guy who's a non-product guy. Right, because that what's his name, John Sternum or whatever the new CEO is, he's a product guy.
Yeah.
Obviously, his teams helped design this, but this has been approved by Tim Cook, who's never been like a great product guy. He's been a great accounting guy. He's been a great process guy. He's been a great like supply chain guy. but none of the products that actually flourished under his leadership were products that he helped design.
Yeah.
The watch was oh God, what was the name of the designer guy? But anyway, and the iPad, the iPhone, all that stuff was Steve Jobs stuff.
Mhm.
There's been no new product that's come out during Tim Cook's time that was Tim Cook's sort of revelation. And maybe the iPhone Fold is like the last product that he was like, yeah, let's do that thing and let's make it super premium. It just feels like during this transition period, like this could be one of those products that they release and then just go, you know what? Yeah, never mind.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe it's possible. Maybe it's possible. Let's see. Let's see how it sells. It's expected to launch the next year, right?
2020. No, it's expected to launch this year along with the iPhone 18 line. But yeah, I don't know if that's going to come out with the original products, the original iPhone Pro and Pro Max, the 18s, or it's going to wait until the iPhone 18s are launched in 2027. I don't know the answer to that question because up until now, it's just been heavily rumored without a specific launch date.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll see. I mean, I'm less interested into the device itself. I definitely don't want to buy it, but I'm more interested into what's the overall AI strategy behind that,
Same.
and more importantly, what is Apple going to do with AI on device?
On device, right?
You know, like they could do something of that matter. They could put like so much power into these foldable phones, like so much power in terms of chip and RAM and GPU and all of that, right?
Yeah, they said a mobile AI device that's on device itself, and in that sense, maybe it's different than just being a foldable phone, right?
Exactly, and then that's actually become a microcomputer, like close to a MacBook Pro, right? Like maybe they will make it like so powerful, like close to a MacBook Pro, and now we are talking about maybe running like ZAI GLM 5.2 in like 6 months on it, right? I have no idea. Like I'm extrapolating on purpose just to make the point that this AI on device thing could change a lot, like how we see big stuff, basically, right? Because maybe they need space. They need more space to be able to put all of this RAM and chips and all of this firepower into the phone. And the AI on device can change so much how we use AI, and also can become such a strong distribution mechanism for AI that maybe next year we're gonna say, you know what, I really want a phone because now I can run Opus on my phone. It's amazing, right? I really want to do that. So I don't know. Let's see. But so far there is no announcement and there is nothing about that, right? That they didn't talk more about what it can do.
But there have been tons of rumors leaking from the supply chain. So if this thing doesn't come out, it's going to be more surprising than if it does come out. But to be fair, and I'll end on this, if I really want to have a device that is AI capable that I want to carry around with me all the time, I don't necessarily want a foldable phone. I want an iPad. I love this device actually. And it's big enough that you can put like powerful chips in it. It's big enough so that it has like a big screen on it. I don't need to fold it. And I think most people are carrying at least some version of some kind of backpack.
Yeah, that's true. Most of
the thing is, I can throw this thing around, and it's like there are no moving parts here. But the foldable phone is going to be something where it's going to be pretty tense. Like you're not going to treat it the same way you treat an iPad because it has all these moving pieces. And you can't tell me, Apple will always say, well, if you fold it and unfold it and fold it and unfold it, we've tested it up to like 1 million times.
It works.
Yeah, but did they test it with 7-year-olds? Do you know what I mean? Who are going to try to break it in half and all this other crap.
Yeah.
And anybody who has one of these phones probably has kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it's true. Yeah, no, it's Yep.
Like, can you imagine Judy using her phone and just like leaving it out and her 2 kids like just like mucking around with it? Nothing against Judy's kids. I love Judy. I love her kids.
And then, they really play with it, right? Like they open it, they try to go the other way around, but it moves a little bit, it's fun, like then
they throw it around the room like it's a football. Go deep.
Exactly. No, yeah, this is a weird new device, but let's see how it goes. I'm curious.
So one more point, and you make this point all the time. As a hardware business, as a distribution business for other pieces of software and other services, makes sense. Let's see what their strategy is around, what it can do in the AI space.
Yes.
Because that's where, and because Apple is building essentially like an Amazon Bedrock business, but just for a different market, right?
Yes.
They want to be able to distribute all the models and stuff like that. not for the same reason that AWS does.
Yeah.
But they want to have people have access to it. Let's see what the implications are for this device on that. Yeah.
For sure. And that can be huge implication, right? Like, and that can be,
Yeah.
it can be absolutely massive if tomorrow you have basically the big idea is that macOS, like Windows, by the way, the two can do the same thing. macOS become the orchestrator itself. So you don't need to install Cloud. You don't need to install Codex. You don't need to install OpenClaw. You don't need to install Hermes or whatever else. The harness, the orchestrator, comes within the macOS, which means it's embedded everywhere. It's easy to use. It's already there. You don't need to install anything. So our mother, Michael, can just go through it, and they have already the harness
confused
installed.
by the words you're using. I'm sorry. You're what?
Our moms globally.
Thank you. That's better. Now I feel safe.
They can already have an orchestrator installed when they buy their MacBook Air, right?
Exactly.
And so this can absolutely change the way we get access to AI and give access to AI to 99.1% of the population who are not in the tech bubble, basically.
Yeah.
And so that's what that's the first thing. Like the OS itself can become the orchestrator. And then the second part of that is if that comes with a little model at first, because it can't be too strong at first. We don't have the hardware, but it can come with a small model that can do some small things. For example, change the meetings with Michael tomorrow to 3 p.m., right? Like, so if the orchestrator, because it's built within the OS, can have all the access to the apps, right? And once again, because they build it into the OS, it's much easier for them to do the connection to calendar, to notes, to all the other stuff, right? They can do that. They can make sure that works. And so then the small model on device will be able to do some small stuff, right? It will be able to write an email. It will be able to move a meeting. It will be able to do this thing just because the integration, you don't need to build them yourself. It already comes within the OS, within the orchestrator. It's easy to use, and it can be helpful a little bit at first, and then you can pay the $20 subscription to have access to a stronger model through the cloud that can do more stuff. And then over time, when the hardware becomes better and better and better, the on-device is more and more and more helpful, and we can do more things. And then we maybe at some point don't need to pay for the subscription at all. But for now, I think we are going to need that. And so we can see that on the computer, we can see that on the phone, we can see that on the Mac Mini, on the MacBook Pro. To me, it makes a ton of sense, and that is absolutely amazing. And I think we can do that.
I want to make one more assertion and see what you think.
Yes.
We did a segment a couple of days ago. Everything seems like a few months ago, but I think it was really recently, where we said that Apple is skipping their M6 chips and moving directly to M7 Pro and M7 Max. You know, what we don't know is what kind of chip is actually going into this iPhone Ultra is what they're calling it, yeah?
Yes, I don't think there's
but
information
what
about it.
if, because we don't know, that's an A-series chip, it's not an M-series chip, yeah? Because the A stuff is the mobile chips, yeah?
Yeah, it's actually,
what
if 820, they may say 820.
Yeah, but what if the A20 is a skip and also has very highly sophisticated on-device AI capabilities?
Yeah.
And they're testing it on this iPhone Ultra. It's calling it Ultra, yeah? So maybe maybe it's more expensive, not only because it has hinges and all this other stuff that makes it harder to build, but because it has capabilities that the other iPhones don't have.
Yes.
That would be a differentiator, and that would be different than what Samsung has, and that could expand the market in a way that maybe Apple expects that we don't know yet.
Exactly. And so that's why, like, this thing may be linked to the AI on device, right? Like maybe
which is why they haven't announced
that.
anything about it yet, because they don't want people to know that yet.
Yes, and they are getting ready for it. They are planning exactly like what does AI on device work. So they talk about AI on device, but that's not something that we are speculating about, right?
No, they've talked about it a lot. They want that, actually.
Yes. It's Apple. Actually, we have always said we want to do AI on device. That's what we believe in,
security
and
reasons.
for security reasons, and that's also something that they have always praised, right? But I think we never really had, all the ecosystem built in and all the different components to make it work. And maybe now we may get to the point that they actually can make it work, right? Both on the model side and the hardware side. And so that's why, like, Apple wants to do AI on device. And yeah, this is exciting, right? Because if that works, this is really, really cool way to expand the market, a really cool way to use AI, and a massive threat to OpenAI and Anthropic. Like, this is
Here
probably
we
one
go
of the
again.
exactly, but like I mean, if that happens tomorrow, Michael, I mean, and if they can give us access to GLM 5.2 through my $200 subscription that I pay to Apple AI, like imagine an Amazon Bedrock inside Apple AI that is
Yeah.
the orchestrator, right? Like we don't even need to go to Amazon Bedrock. We don't even need to go to cloud. We just pay them $200 per month, so we have access to all the models that they integrate for you. No API, and what can run locally on the machine you buy, you can run it locally without
So
any
this could
usage.
be their reference device for testing that, yeah.
Exactly. And so now
And
we are
that would make
talking
sense to me.
now we are talking something massive in terms of how we're gonna use AI, right? Like a big revolution. So
Exactly.
yeah, it would be like, you know what, let's just put as much firepower as we can into this thing. It's gonna be
That
expensive.
sounds like
Yeah.
something that Apple would do,
Yes,
that a
yes, yes,
smart
yes, yes.
Apple company would do.
Yes, exactly. And then it's gonna be expensive, yes, but guys, believe me, it's going to be great, right? And then if that works, yeah, this is going to be a revolution. It could be a big revolution. And once again, massive threat to OpenAI and Anthropic, because it will mean that they're gonna struggle so much to get out of the tech bubble. And every second they wait to have more uncles, more people in the marketing departments, people in the finance department, people in the HR department who are not tech guys, who didn't install Cloud Code because it's too complicated. The more
Yeah,
they
yeah.
wait, and the more these people get used to Apple Intelligence, and the more they get into the Apple on-device ecosystem, the harder it's going to get them back to Cursor or to Cloud Code or to Codex, right? Like as soon as people get used to it and it works, yeah, it's gonna be really, really complicated for everybody else. And by the way, Windows can do the exact same thing, right? Like if
Exactly.
everything that we said about Apple is also true for Windows. And I think this is such a huge opportunity. This is just massive, massive,
I mean,
massive.
the one thing that Samsung doesn't have is their own operating system that they
Yeah.
can control. Sure, they can scan and do a whole bunch of different stuff to Android, but they don't
Mhm.
control the operating system.
Yeah.
Two more things I want to make a point, and then we should stop. The first is that Apple's installed base does give it a slight advantage because there are people, like I said, that like look at the back of the phone and just think that's an iPhone or that's a fake one.
Yeah.
And the second thing is a lot of people will like buy an Apple device to show off that like it's an Apple device. And since they don't make that many foldables, not that many people are going to have them. And I remember when the iPhone 10 came out, people were like, "You still have a button on your phone?" I just swipe up. I just swipe. Like, what are you doing over there?
No,
Kind
it's
of
true.
thing.
Yeah.
And people
That's
will just be like,
true.
"I have the new thing."
Yeah.
You don't. Oh, you don't have one. I'm sorry. You just have the regular Pro Max. I see. Okay. Did you lose your job? You know what I mean? It's a very Apple thing to do. Oh, and one more. The last thing I want to leave you with is SpaceX down $1.24, down almost 1% today, trading with a 156 handle. So do what you will.
Okay.
Thank you, Martin.
Okay. Thank you everyone for joining us as well. It was pretty interesting hardware discussion today. I hope you enjoyed it. And we'll see you tomorrow at the same time, 11 a.m. ET.
And don't forget to give us a thumbs up on today's video and all of our videos. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on all of our socials on X, on Instagram, and LinkedIn. And be interactive. We love the interactivity. As Martin said, we'll be back tomorrow, every weekday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. My name is Michael Waits. I'm going to say bye for now.
Bye bye, everyone.